Bonjour, I'm Belle. Welcome to the castle library. I'm so glad you're here. You see, a few of the books seem to be under an enchantment. In fact, the stories have been all mixed up and they've gotten quite silly. Perhaps if I read you a story, you could help me put it back together.
As Belle reads, you'll discover that some parts of the story are mixed up. Use the remote control to help her fix the story.
Once, shortly after I arrived at the castle, Cogsworth gave me a guided tour. But there was only one place I really wanted to see: the dungeon. Wait a minute. That's not what I wanted to see. Could you help me correct the story? Where in the castle did I want to go? The West Wing. You're right. The beast told me it was forbidden, which of course made me all the more curious to see it. I snuck up the staircase and into the West Wing. It was dark and dusty, like it hadn't been visited in years. Something caught my eye. I turned and saw dancing napkins. Now that's not right. What did I discover in the West Wing? The enchanted rose. That's right. A beautiful enchanted rose in a glass bell jar caught my attention. But as I moved to take a closer look, suddenly the beast appeared out of nowhere. He gave me quite a scare, so I raced down the stairs. I just had to get out of the castle, whether I promised to stay or not. I jumped on Philippe and headed for the forest. And there, to my surprise, I was suddenly surrounded by a pack of teaspoons. A pack of teaspoons? That certainly isn't what I remember. Do you know what I was surrounded by in the forest? Wolves. Why, that's exactly right. I got thrown from my horse and was surrounded by a hungry pack of wolves. I tried to fight them off, but there were too many of them. Luckily, the beast arrived just in time to save me. After a fierce battle, he managed to chase the wolves away. But the beast was hurt during the fight. I couldn't turn away. I had to help him. So I took him back to the castle and gave him a haircut. A haircut? Oh, I'm quite sure that's not what happened. Do you remember what happened next? That's right. We returned to the castle where I cleaned his wounds and thanked him for saving my life. After that, I began to think that maybe the beast wasn't so horrible after all. That was a good story, wasn't it? Would you like to hear another? Once on a chilly winter's day, I was taking a walk with Philippe in the snow. I didn't know it, but someone was watching me from above. It was Gaston. Oh my. Gaston was nowhere near the castle that day. Do you remember who was watching me? The beast? Why, that's right. You have a very good memory. The beast was watching me from above. He told Cogsworth and Lumiere that he wanted to do something nice for me. Cogsworth suggested flowers or chocolates, but the beast wanted something a little more special. He escorted me through the castle to a closed set of doors. Then he made me close my eyes for the surprise. Beast presented me with one of the rooms in the castle as a gift. The broom closet. The broom closet? Wait, that doesn't sound right, does it? Do you remember which room the beast gave me? library. You're absolutely right. The Beast put a lot of thought into this gift. He knew how I loved to read, so he presented me with the biggest, most spectacular library I'd ever seen, filled with thousands of wonderful books. It was the nicest present I'd ever received. But the Beast had another surprise, too. We got all dressed up and had a wonderful dinner together. And later, we danced in the ballroom. It was like something out of a fairy tale. Then, we walked outside to sit beneath a star-filled sky. The Beast asked me if I was happy, and I told him yes. But I did miss someone very much. It was the wolves. How silly. Of course I didn't miss the wolves. Who do you think I missed while I was at the castle? My father? Yes, that's right. I missed my father terribly. Then, the Beast told me there was a way that I could see him. He took me to the West Wing and handed me Fifi, the feather duster. Oh dear, the Beast did not hand me a feather duster. Can you help? What did the Beast hand to me? The mirror. That's right. I held the mirror and asked to see my father, but what I saw frightened me. My father needed my help. The Beast then released me and told me to go to him. Only later did I realize just how unselfish the Beast had acted that day by letting me go. That was a good story, wasn't it? Would you like to hear another? I'll never forget the day the Beast released me from the castle. I raced out of the gates to find my father. He was ill and needed my help. I found him alone in the forest and took him home. Little did I realize that outside our house, LeFou was waiting, disguised as a tuba. Oh, goodness. LeFou wasn't disguised as a tuba. That's rather silly, don't you think? Do you remember what LeFou was disguised as? A snowman. That's exactly right. Disguised as a snowman, LeFou saw me arrive with my father, then ran off to tell Gaston. Meanwhile, my father was starting to feel better. And then we discovered that someone had stowed away in my bag earlier that day. It was Philippe. Oh no, I'm quite sure it wasn't Philippe. Do you remember who stowed away in my bag? Chip? You guessed it. Chip hid in my bag when I left the castle. Now he was with me at my house. But so was a man from the asylum. That man wanted to take my father away. It was all part of Gaston's scheming plan to get me to marry him. Gaston tried to make my father seem crazy for believing that the Beast existed. But he did exist, and I proved it to all the townspeople by showing them hors d'oeuvres. Oh dear, that's not right. I wouldn't have shown them a plate of food. What did I show the townspeople to prove that the Beast was real? The magic mirror? That's right. I held the mirror up and showed everyone the Beast. I told them the Beast would never hurt anyone, but no one believed me. Gaston locked my father and me in the cellar, then led the angry townspeople to storm the castle. Luckily, Chip was still there. He helped free us by using a hairbrush. A hairbrush? Oh dear, that wouldn't have been much help to us or little Chip. What did Chip use to help free us from the cellar? The wood chopper? Very good. My father's invention came in quite handy that day. It chopped the door down, and my father and I were able to escape. After that, we all rushed to the castle to help save the beast. Luckily for us, Cogsworth, Lumiere, and Mrs. Potts had already put a plan in action to protect the castle. They were all heroes. And along with the beast, they were about to become human again. That was a good story, wasn't it? Would you like to hear another? The courtyard. I do love the courtyard, but I'm afraid this wasn't the place I wanted to visit. Please do try again. The hallway. Those knights in shining armor were definitely interesting, but the hallway wasn't the first place I wanted to see. Please guess again. The kitchen. I'd already visited the kitchen when Mrs. Potts offered to make me dinner. Won't you try once more? The magic mirror? I'm afraid I didn't see the mirror that day. Why don't you choose something else? My father's wood chopper? No, my father never brought the wood chopper into the castle. Please guess again. The wardrobe? No, I don't think she was ever in the West Wing. Won't you try again? Plates? I'm fairly certain all the plates stayed in the kitchen. Please do try again. Teacups? Oh, I don't think Mrs. Potts would let the teacups out of the castle on such a cold day. Please choose a different answer. The townspeople? No, I don't believe I saw any of the townspeople that day in the forest. Won't you try again? I'm afraid we didn't dance just then. Would you try another answer? I remember that night well. The stars were so close you could almost touch them. But the beast was injured, so we didn't go to the balcony. Would you choose again? I always enjoy visiting the library, but that's not what happened next. Please try again. My father? Oh, I would have loved to see him, but I'm afraid my father wasn't there. Please choose again. Chip? I don't recall Chip watching me that day. Why don't you try again? Mrs. Potts? No, I think she was in the kitchen while I was outside. Please make another selection. The ballroom? Why, it's so grand and magnificent, and I do love to dance. But I'm afraid that's not it. But please, do try again. The guest bedroom? Oh, it is a lovely room and would make a fine gift. But it wasn't that room. Please try again. The kitchen. Well, I do love to cook, but it wasn't the kitchen the beast gave me that day. Would you like to try again? Gaston? Oh, no. Gaston wasn't there, thank goodness. Won't you try again? Mrs. Potts? I saw Mrs. Potts quite often, so she wasn't the one I was missing. Please try again. Philippe? No, that's not quite right. My horse Philippe stayed at the castle. Would you like to try again? The enchanted rose? Why, no, I'm afraid I couldn't touch the rose. Please choose again. A book? Oh, I do love books, but the beast didn't hand one to me this time. Choose again, please. The wardrobe? The wardrobe held my clothes, and she's a bit too big to carry. Won't you try again? A stove? I'm afraid the stove stayed in the kitchen at the castle. Would you like to try once more? A gargoyle? The only gargoyles I remember were high atop the castle. Please choose again. A coat rack? That certainly would have been a funny sight, but I'm afraid that's incorrect. Please try again. The wardrobe? I think she was a bit too big to fit in my bag. Please try a different answer. Cogsworth? As I remember, Cogsworth never left the castle that day. Why don't you try again? The beast? Why, no, the beast was still at the castle, and he would never fit in my bag. Won't you choose again? A book? Well, the beast certainly had plenty of books in his library, but I'm afraid that wouldn't have done it. Please try again. The enchanted rose? Well, the rose was part of the enchantment, but that wouldn't have proved the beast was real. Won't you try again? The beast's portrait. That's a very good answer, especially because the beast is in it, but I'm afraid it's not quite right. Please choose again. A horse and buggy? That would certainly help us escape, but first we needed to get out of the cellar. Please choose again. A chandelier, though quite beautiful. I don't think it would have been much use to Chip. Won't you try again? A suit of armor. I'm sure we could have used the axe, but that's not the correct answer this time. Try once more, won't you?